Okay, so this is a video review for the game Victoria Revolutions, although it can refer to Victoria Empire Under the Sun, which is the original. This is the expansion pack that I'm playing with, but this can refer to the original. This is a strategy game released by Paradox Entertainment, I believe, in 2003. Apologise for the graphics here, they look bloody awful, but this is one of the greatest strategy games ever, if not the greatest of all time. It is a simple 2D game, but the AI, the depth of this game will have you coming back for more years to come. I mean, as I said, this was created in 2003. I definitely remember playing it from 2005 onwards, so that's at least a solid 4 years. You can play as so many countries in the world. Pretty much any country that you want that is in this game, you can play as. There are 4 different time periods. You don't have to do the grand campaign from 1836 to the 1920s or so. You can pick later on, like the American Civil War. You can pick the 1880s, or you can pick 1914, which is the scenario I'm going to show you just for this particular video review. This game is so in depth, that is the one major criticism. It's so deep that you actually won't be able to play it for the first week at least, even when you spend a few hours on it, just trying to work out what all the features are. But I'll try and show you those in a simple sort of way to begin with. It is a very historical game. There's lots of events that happen which kind of force your hand, which are good in some respects, because it keeps the game going. That means also when you come back to it, some things stay the same, but generally it's a good thing. And the AI has been so well scripted. It is incredibly clever, and far better than the Total War games, which I'm going to compare it to throughout this review. So to begin with, I'm playing as Germany, just for the sake of being able to show you both east and western borders in this First World War. This is the geopolitical view. Again, it's 2D. It's not meant to be clever and like one of the Total War games. It is very simple graphically, but believe me, once you look past this to the actual gameplay, it is an incredible game. Basically, what you're trying to do is build up 3 scores: your industry, your prestige, and your military. And with that, you gain points and you become the most powerful country in the game. It is a score-based system, but there have been games where I knew I was pretty much ruling the roost, even though I came second to another player. The score really doesn't matter, but it is good and suggestive of how powerful a country is. You can sort of research technologies like in other games. This is just showing you who's friends and who's enemies at the moment, the sort of relations mode. You can improve relations, you can guarantee someone's independence, you can make alliances, defensive alliances or attacking alliances as well. You can have negotiations where you trade over bits of land for money or tech. You can do a lot of diplomatic options. Here at the beginning, I'm just going to be sorting out my economy. There's a lot of economic things, not just fiddling with taxation, although that's what I'm doing here. It's also putting money towards education, i.e. technology, putting money towards crime fighting, so that rebellions don't break out, taxing the rich and poor alike so that we don't get rebellions and things. This is the political mode. What you are able to do is influence and in fact constrained by the political parties in power. So if you're authoritarian, you might want to put your favourite ones, set them as the ruling party, because otherwise you will not be able to build certain things if it is a laissez-faire or free trade party in power. So that's a good thing, though. It means that you have to work within certain constraints. That was just the trading screen. This is pretty much an economical game. This is not a military game, even though what I'm showing you is a military scenario. This is far and beyond. It is basically a trading game. This screenshot is what it should look like. China in the 1800s. But yeah, you will be building railroads, you'll be building factories. All this will make you money, and but you will need to bring in the raw materials in order to build these things. If you want to build steel, then you need to have iron and coal, I think it is. So you need to import those manually, and that means you doing it and not the computer. So there is a lot of depth to this game, but it means that if you can see a way to get rich, you've got enough to build maybe a luxury furniture factory in one of your provinces. You got to think, well, where am I going to put it, because it's going to cost me to set up. But once I do, I'm going to have to convert the local population to craftsmen rather than from farmers. So this you can take a fairly backwards country and very much change the economy of it and make it a fully developed country, or at least that goes the theory. You can play as any country in this game. You can play as any of the South American, African nations that happen to be there. To be honest, most of Africa is just there to be colonized in this game, unfortunately. But that was quite historical, I suppose. So, but yeah, you could pick a country like Chile or let's see, Ethiopia. Or when it comes about, you can pick one of the Indian sort of the small nations before they formed and united into one. So you can play as any faction, and there's a great replayability in this game. At the moment, there is just sort of fighting on the eastern front. The combat works absolutely fine. You can move them around simply enough. It's not complicated. It's not all intricate sort of 3D battles and stuff, but it's still really good. It still works perfectly for what you need it to do. Your best friend, by the way, at the beginning, if you do ever get this game, is the pause button. I play it on very, very fast. It is it's a real-time game, but you will basically be pausing it every few seconds, just to, firstly, because there's so many messages come up, which is a little criticism, but it's not. You get used to it and you just sort of pause it and get them all off. The reason why there's so many popping up, it looks like some sort of spam. You just go onto a spam website or something. The reason why there's so many is because it is the First War and there are dozens of units being moved at one time. So that's why it's happening right now. But it doesn't get too annoying because you can just kind of pause it and get rid of them. As I said, the AI in this game is absolutely brilliant. You can set the difficulty level to various things. You can set it to ruthless, which is always a good game to have. If you share a border with a very powerful country and you don't have a good reputation, you have a bad sort of bad boy score, which is literally what it's called, then you can be expecting someone to invade you for no good reason. But it is because you are sharing a border with them and you are an untrustworthy neighbour, and that is a pretty cool thing. It's also there are scripted events as well, so there's a good mix between it. I'm just trying to think of what else to say. Really, this is a really engrossing game. You don't get big 3D battles, but you do get incredible AI. They know when they're weakest and can't attack you, but also when they're strong and you're weak, then they may start ganging up on you, especially if you don't have good relations. So, but it isn't like that sort of total war thing whereby you could be at peace with someone for ages and then they just kind of come around and blockade your ship. It isn't pointless or random AI. It's not like Sweden will suddenly start fighting Argentina or something like that just because it felt like it. This is serious AI, and I have not found AIs this good in any other game. So to conclude, this is a great game. Look past the graphics, look past the fact that it is a very hard to get into game. I will not doubt that or play that down. It does take probably a good few weeks to sort of work out what the hell you're doing, but once you do, you can come back to this time and time again. So my final score for this one, I think it's probably the best strategy game I've ever played, and I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10, which I do not give to many other games. So I hope you've enjoyed that.